Senegal is going to promote Senegalese languages in school and every department. So no more telling people in French, you don't know how to speak French, or your French is not French enough, or your French is not Frenching, or you don't sound very mal. Yeah, what's up everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. See, I look good in my stuff. So it's late night. So we're about 6 p.m., like 6:50, but it's kind of dark already. So I still have to run to the shops and go buy some stuff for tomorrow morning. I'm training tonight. I'm also training in the morning. So I don't have enough stuff. So I need to go buy stuff. But before I go, because I love you very much, I have to talk to you first. Okay, so we are in Senegal. The authorities of Senegal are choosing national languages over the colonizer's language. Congratulations! Clap them hands. Yes, fellas, yes, that's what we want. We want to see Africa claiming Africa, okay? Because it's too much. I mean, in these countries, especially French-speaking countries, if you don't speak a French that's Frenching, you know what I mean? You're Frenching, meaning a French that sounds like a Frenchman. Nobody's going to look at you. So basically, the more you sound like a Frenchman, the more they think you're intellectual, the more they think you're a great person, you're interesting, the more you are serious. You know what I mean? The less you feel and sound like a Frenchman, the more they think you're stupid. So the more you speak your home language, your mother's tongue, the less they find you interesting. It's very sad. But now it's good to see Senegalese follow through as well. So Senegal has got a lot of languages, a lot of tribes, and some of them have been recognized, like Dioula, Melenke, Pula, Serer, Sonenke, Wolof. Wolof is definitely the most spoken language in Senegal. It's been a vector of sovereignty for the country. Oh, by the way, this is Senegal. I know you don't know where Senegal is. We need to teach you geography because some of you, yeah, I'm just kidding. So this is Senegal. Beautiful place, lovely people. The culture, the music, the sport. Senegal is one of those countries where they have wrestling as sport. These guys are strong and huge, and they make a lot of money. They can make up to $300,000 a fight. Yeah, these big guys. And that's good. You know, they're sponsored by many companies from, local companies, telecommunication companies, and that's a good thing. The food is amazing. And apparently, whatever you call jollof rice, you're fighting over jollof from Ghana and Nigerian jollof. The actual jollof rice is from Senegal. That's where it came from. Yeah, that's what it came from originally. So they have chiep, they have fish jollof. Yeah, it's just insane. So if you've never been to Africa, I can encourage you to go to Senegal. Go visit, no doubt about it. I've never been myself, but I've been very documented about Senegal, and I'm looking to go perhaps on New Year's Eve and have a great time. Okay, so we are in Senegal. Senegal wants to claim their own languages. They want to speak more of their language. They say it's more effective to develop a national language than to cultivate a foreign language.
A publishing house should reflect the language spoken by the population. And the language spoken by the population here is in French. French is part of our history, but we need to claim ownership of our own language before expanding into others.
Teaching that would have been in a mother tongue would make it possible to avoid years of delay in acquisition of knowledge.
When children learn their mother tongue, they're more likely to succeed in school. They participate much more in class, they're more interested, they do better, and the success rate is visibly higher.
Absolutely. When you teach somebody in his mother tongue, it's very quick, it's very simple, it's very easy than when you're trying to speak in English. I mean, I'm remembering in some African countries where I went traveling because I always trying to learn local languages. I always try. Even when you stop by the police, when you try to speak English, you look at you, yeah, yes, my brother. What do you want, my brother? Where is your permit? Where is your driver's license, my brother? So are you legally in the country? But if you speak to their home language, if you try, even you just try, they warm up to you. They go like, hey, oh, okay, so how long have you been here? Okay, do you have a woman from here? And they warm up to you easy. They treat you nicely. So the same concept is valid when it comes to teaching. When you teach a child in the home language, it's very easy. You see these Senegalese kids go to school after 9 years. Like in 9 years, they've been speaking local languages. Melenke, Dioula, Pular, Serer, Soninke. After 9 years, you say to them, let me teach you French first, which is the colonizer's language. Then I'm going to teach you how to build a house. Does that even make sense? After 9 years of soaking into the mother tongue, then you want to teach him how to, you know what I mean? It makes absolute no sense. So Senegal say enough is enough. Now, Senegal is a brand new government with 2 young leaders. The president is 45 years old, I believe, and the prime minister is also in his 40s. So these are young people that want to bring new things. They want to claim more Africa. So this is a very good thing. Now, I think this is a very interesting subject because this doesn't limit itself in Senegal. In most African countries, the more you sound like a white man, the more they tend to think of you like, you're kind of interesting, you're kind of serious, you know. You couldn't be lying because you sound like a white man. So there's no way you're lying. You can't be a crook because you sound like a white man. It's very sad. It's the same thing in English-speaking countries. Same thing in French-speaking countries. Same thing in Portuguese-speaking countries. Unfortunately, yes, in some places, maybe more than other places, but it's a truth reality all across the board. If you go to countries like South Africa, and sometimes you find a black man trying to, hey, okay, that's very, very interesting. But, you know, when you do the accountant, and it's a very interesting that we see the product rate drop. Well, I get that. That's the business, trying to sound good business kind of talks. But you need to love your, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. And South Africa is less of that than most African countries. South Africa is one of the, I need to praise South Africa for that. Because South Africa is probably one of the very few countries in Africa that has preserved the culture, even the religion, you know. You will see many people in places like KwaZulu-Natal. KwaZulu-Natal is... you know, where Shaka Zulu came from. They still believe in ancestors. They still believe in the spirit of ancestors. They still believe that the ancestors have a lot to do with what they do today. Their business success, their choices, the wife they choose, there has to be agreed upon. Things have to be opened by the ancestors. If things are not working right for you, maybe you need to check with the ancestors. And I'm not saying they are right or they are wrong, because we cannot discuss our religions here. All I'm trying to say to you here is that they have kept who they were a long time ago. I mean, are you telling me that before the white men arrived, God never listened to Africans? Are you saying to me God was blind and mute and deaf to African prayers before the arrival of external human beings? I don't think so. Are you telling me everybody that died at that time all went to hell and they are burning right now because they never heard anything coming from this pipe? Come on, man. Makes no sense. I'm just saying, whichever religion you believe in, as an African person, you need to know your home language, your mother's tongue. You are not a human being if you've never been to your father's village. How can you say how? You see Africans running away. They're all trying to go to London, the British speaking, all the British colonies. Nigeria want to go to London. Uganda, London. Kenya, London. All of them want to go to London. It's like London's Mecca. French-speaking countries, Côte d'Ivoire, Paris. Cameroon, Paris. Congo, Brazzaville, Paris. All of them want to go to Paris. You've never been to your father's village, but you want to go to Paris. You've never interacted with people that grew up with your dad, your uncles, but you want to go to Paris. And some of them even open churches in Paris. Who told you the white man needs a church from a black man? They don't. In your own village, there's no church. But you want to take a visa, go to Brussels and go open a church. Come on, stop lying to people. Stop lying to people. Props to Senegal for looking back and realizing you cannot progress in somebody else's lecture. Okay, they're going to have some difficulties, obviously. They say many books still have to be translated into local languages. That's going to take time, but it's not going to take forever. No doubt about that.
We have some challenges. One is teacher training. Another is whether it will be possible to produce enough teaching materials, enough textbooks for each national language. We have 20 codified languages, which is a lot.
The good thing is the idea. You know, remember who you are. Once you remember who you are, you apply the tradition that's applicable to you. Let me give you another example. Did you know that in many African countries out here, people don't even have the traditional clothes, like traditional clothes that you will wear on your wedding? I'm telling you, there are some African nations here who have to copy other African nations so they can have their weddings. Yes, why? Because they rejected the tradition, completely forgot who they are. And how did that occur? When they brought evangelism, they told them everything that's traditional is witchcraft. Everything that's related to your home, your dad, your grandfather is witchcraft. All celebration, all, sitting downs, all of that is witchcraft. You must forget that. You must throw it in fire, burn it. That's exactly what the colonialists taught Africans. But the colonialists knew when he came that the African man, he knew who God was. But Africans have rejected what they are. They've thrown away the culture. Okay, the only culture they've kept is paying the dowry. Okay, dowry is called different. It's called lobola in South Africa. It's called dot in some other place. The dowry is basically when you come pay what is required for you to get the woman. Because in Africa, you cannot just get a woman and live with her. No, you can't just stay together. If she comes from a decent family or there's a father, no, they will not allow you to do that. You cannot just go live with her. No, you can't. You need to go to the family first, ask for her hand. Your family has to send a letter to her family. A family has to agree to who you are. Send the letter back saying, okay, you can come. You can bring the goods and the gifts. You give, I don't know how much it is, depending. Sometimes they ask for multiple cows and some symbolic things. Anyway, that's what it's supposed to be. But that's what most Africans kept. In many African nations, they forgot everything. In many African nations, they don't speak to their ancestors because they say it's witchcraft. You can't speak to the dead because that's what it is. Well, some Africans still speak to the dead, what you call dead. They don't believe they're dead. They believe they're still alive. So who's telling the truth? Who's telling the lies? We don't know. I'm not going to get into your religion. Don't judge other people's religion. Senegal is adopting back the language. They're going to do that. They're going to veil the language on the outdoor, on the outskirts, so they can get the people back into their nature.
It's a language that you need to master in order to integrate in social spaces, to live well, to be able to communicate with people and understand the culture and so on.
The Chinese have never learned English to build China. The Chinese have never learned French to build China. China is one of the most powerful countries in the world right now. In the 1960s, when 1945 to be precise, when Africans were moving very slowly toward independence, China was a poor country. Look at China now. It was one of the most populous countries in the world. Look at the Chinese now. They're ruling the world. They didn't in Chinese, Mandarin. They didn't do that in French or English. Did they forget their God? They didn't forget their God. The Chinese come to Africa, while some Africans open a church behind his house and goes and you see the plastic, those plastic seats. Okay, those plastic seats. You see those plastic seats. Behind it is written, Jesus is Lord, right? Now, the Chinese will leave China, come to Africa, start printing these chairs and selling it to Christians of Africa, where it says Jesus is Lord. You will buy many of those, but he doesn't even believe in Jesus. He's getting your money. So in the meantime, he's selling you that. You're going to church to pray God for money and prosperity. But in the meantime, the guy that doesn't pray your God is making money and prosperity out of you. Did God listen to him who printed the chair, or listen to you who's been praying to go overseas, to go to Brussels and UK and the USA? You must ask yourself a question. We need to look back to who we are. You cannot say you're a man if you've never been to your father's village. You cannot say you're a man if you cannot speak your father's tongue. You cannot say you're a man if you do not understand your tradition. You have never spoken to your elders. You've never been there. You're scared. You think they're going to kill you in witchcraft. What kind of a man are you? Why would they kill you? You believe in superstitions and nonsense. Like, it's crazy. So are you telling me witchcraft is only in Africa? So white people don't ever... So how come all these stories we hear, witch kids, witch wizard, whatever, it's only in Africa? So the devil doesn't care about Europe. He just wants wizards and witches in Africa. Congratulations to Senegal for upholding the tradition and calling back, signing a decree to get the language being spoken. Out of 14 regions, 12 will be exclusively in African languages. God bless.